What happens when a leader decides that an entire community must leave a country in just 90 days? No appeals, no warnings, no exceptions. In August 1972, Idi Amin, the controversial ruler of Uganda, did exactly that. He ordered tens of thousands of people, successful business owners, doctors, teachers, families, who had lived in Uganda for generations, to pack whatever they could carry and leave immediately. Today, in this video, we are going to explore why these Asians were in Uganda in the first place, what drove Amin's decision, and how one act reshaped lives, nations, and economies across continents. The story begins in the late 1800s, when South Asians, primarily from India, were brought to East Africa by British colonial authorities. And what was their first task? Build the Uganda Railway connecting the Indian Ocean to the heart of East Africa. After that, many laborers chose to stay, some married, opened businesses, and built communities. By the mid-20th century, Asians in Uganda had become prominent entrepreneurs, traders, industrialists, and professionals. Yet, despite their economic success, resentment brewed among segments of the indigenous population. Many saw Asians as outsiders dominating commerce, while many Ugandans struggled economically. In 1971, Idi Amin seized power following a military coup. By 1972, he faced mounting challenges: a flattering economy, rising unemployment, social tension, and rivalries among the elites. He blamed Uganda's economic woes on the Asian minority, accusing them of monopolizing business, hoarding wealth, and holding back indigenous Ugandans. The stage was set for drastic action. On the 4th August 1972, Idi Amin announced that all Asians had just 90 days to leave Uganda. Roughly 80,000 Asians were affected, including British passport holders. Properties, businesses, and homes were seized and redistributed, often to military officials with no business experience. This was not just a mass removal, it was economic reallocation under the guise of nationalism. Families scrambled for exit permits, tickets, and visas, often at great cost. People could take only a small amount of cash and personal belongings, while the soldiers, on the other hand, harassed some of those who were leaving. Countries like the UK, Canada, India, and Kenya became destinations for refugees. Idi Amin assumed removing Asians would transfer economic power to native Ugandans. But Asians controlled 90% of Uganda's business. Within months, shops closed, factories shut, skilled professionals vanished, supply chains broke. Untrained new owners mismanaged businesses. Dairy farms were ruined, factories failed, the economy stumbled, the GDP fell, unemployment was on the increase. The world condemned the expulsion as discriminatory and economically reckless. The UK and India took in many refugees as much as they can, with cities like Leicester becoming early centers of resettlement. Uganda became increasingly isolated internationally. In the 1990s, under President Yoweri Museveni, Uganda invited expelled Asians to return and reclaim their property. Some returned, restoring their economic influence, but the trauma of 1972 left lasting scars on families and the country. The expulsion was more than just political theater. A leader sought to remove a perceived elite to uplift a majority. Instead, the economy collapsed, social trust eroded, and generations were uprooted. History teaches that you cannot expel prosperity without collapsing the foundations that sustain a nation. 1972 Uganda is a warning of what happens when fear and greed overrides reason.